It's changed a lot since becoming sober. I don't really know that I've ever really had a definition for happiness. I've never really thought of it as something logical to pursue, but more of a side effect of having a sense of purpose in your life and something that you're occupying yourself with. What happiness is to me has changed a lot, especially since I've become sober. I don't really know that I've ever had a firm definition for it. It's definitely seemed like something that it doesn't make a lot of sense to grasp at or try to achieve, and more of something that happens as a side effect of living a life in which you're pursuing a purpose and you have a sense of contentment. "12 years ago, I had gotten into a rehab called the Home of Grace in Van Cleve, Mississippi. So when I first was in the Home of Grace rehab, I was like, oh, this is great. You know, I was a drug addict, and then I gotten saved, and it was almost just like a summer camp for grown men out there in the woods where, you know, we got to eat unhealthy food and talk about God. And then I went to Heartland, and that was a super bizarre, almost militant lifestyle, very structured, very scheduled. You couldn't make phone calls. It was really bizarre. And I had to get out, so I left, and they just dropped me off at the closest town. I got dropped off at the bus station at Quincy, Illinois with, I remember it was like $180 in my pocket, and a bus ticket home would have been $276. And at this time, my father had passed away, and I was pretty much cut off from everyone in my family. But I basically, I wound up at the Salvation Army homeless shelter. I got a job that I absolutely hated. It was awful. At a laundry for hospitals, so it was gross used linens. And then after that, I got myself at a restaurant, back to fine dining serving in a great apartment. I lived there for a couple of years and sort of built a life out of complete scratch. Still have friends up there now. So. I had a month in the shelter, so I had to find an apartment immediately. And then the sense of independence that I developed in that town was transformative for sure. Where I feel like if I were to just be dropped in the middle of nowhere in a town where I knew no one, I could manage and figure it out. It taught me a lot about not feeling sorry for myself, because I realized in my addiction that was what the biggest problem was instead of moving on from past trauma, I allowed it to define me. You can have things have happened to you. You can have things that you might have done to others or yourself, and things that might have happened to you when you were a kid you couldn't control. But ultimately, at some point in time, you either realize the buck stops here, or you just never progress and you're stuck. Yeah. So really just not feeling sorry for myself was what happened. That changed my life. My relationship with God was everything. So Jesus definitely would be the top of that list. My mom was a big part of that. And my stepdad, who I became closer to than my biological father. I didn't meet him until I was actually in that period of homelessness and transience. But my friends, all of my friends that mean everything to me. I don't make close friends very easily, but the ones that I have, I'm very grateful for. So I find the easiest way to navigate the challenges that I have now, like I'm almost 40, so this is all very fresh perspective, and I'm still learning, obviously, every day, just like everyone else is, I suppose, but you shouldn't focus on the negative shit. Or you shouldn't allow yourself to be preoccupied for any sort of period of time by something that makes you sad. If something bad happens, think about what's a healthy time to mourn for it. Even if the world says, oh no, take your own process. No, don't take your own process. Like, life keeps going on without you, whether or not you continue or not. So you have to continue. And I think it's really, really helpful to focus on other people. I don't mean like self-care, like make sure you're dieting and sleeping and stuff like that, but you should be preoccupied with the relationships in your life and cultivating those, because those are ultimately the things that give you meaning and contentment and happiness and joy, not anything internal, really. I would say find something you can do to spend your time giving to other people. Go volunteer at a Habitat for Humanity. Get plugged into some sort of community of positive people. I would say finding community and finding purpose. You're not going to be happy if you're sitting around saying, why am I not happy? People find happiness in purpose. They find happiness in mission and a sense of satisfaction from having accomplished something. You preoccupy yourself with what you're supposed to be doing, and then you just find moments of happiness. But it's not like when you're in a moment of happiness, you can't stub your toe or get a horrifying text. It's just like if you're in prison for life, it's not like you can't have someone tell you a joke and you bust out laughing. So it's all about perspective, really. I guess I am. I'm content right now. I'm in a time in my life where I'm doing exactly what I want to be doing. I'm pursuing my dream career that I've thought about for years, but never really had the nerve to pursue. I was homeless 12 years ago, and now I have a house and a car and 2 dogs, 2 pigs. They're pets, I'm not going to eat them, and a cat. I'm very happy at the moment, But perspective's important. I could stumble down those stairs and, I would not be happy then, or I could get into a car accident and I would then not be happy. But maybe I get out of the car accident and while we're waiting for the cops, the guy and I actually, hit it off, and then I make a friend. And, that's really the only way to go through life, is not focus on the things that make you sad, and you'll find yourself more happier than you thought you'd be most of the time, I would say.